Hey, what's up, guys? Guess where I'm at? Just my favorite place ever. Even if I'm going out to dinner or out to eat, it's like this is the place I choose. But today, what I wanted to talk about was something really cool. I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding out there as far as what's really important when it comes to actually sustaining a diet. And being able to just be able to sustain it for a long time, so that you can actually lose weight and keep it off. So today we're going to be talking about, how to basically control those hunger cravings, right? That happen, we feel like we're doing good. And then all of a sudden, boom, we taste something and we kind of get out of control with food, right? And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. Because that is, it's going to be extremely important when trying to maintain a lean body. Anybody can lose weight and, deprive themselves of food and calories for a short period of time. That is not the hard part. Okay. That's the easy part. Anybody can do that. Oh, hey, Tommy. Me too. The hard part is actually keeping it off, and so what I want to be talking about today is really how your decisions, when it comes to making a decision, when you're about to eat, how important it is, right? And I think this gets just sort of lost in the whole, macros and calories are all that matters world. Okay. So, your success at maintaining a certain sort of body physique, starts when you first think about the food. Okay. So we tend to think very wrongly that one meal has nothing to do with the next meal. Okay. That they're completely independent, that breakfast has nothing to do with lunch and lunch has nothing to do with dinner. And that is just simply not true. Okay. But it's just the way that we want to think about it. We think that if we just make a good decision right now, that's all that matters. But really what you need to start thinking about is, how will my decision right now affect my decision that I choose later? How, what I choose to eat right now for breakfast, how will that affect what I choose to eat for lunch and for dinner? Okay. Because studies show that what you eat and don't eat in one meal has a direct effect on what you eat or don't eat in the next meal. It affects how hungry you're going to be, what you're going to be craving, and how much you're going to want to eat. Okay. So for example, if you ask yourself, okay, if I had two choices, let's say we have a big bowl of oatmeal, will having a big bowl of oatmeal make you more or less likely to choose a chicken salad for lunch? Okay. Or let's compare that with bacon and eggs. How will, you having bacon and eggs for breakfast, how will that determine what you choose to eat at lunchtime? It doesn't change, for you. Some people, when they think about that, right away their hand goes up and they're like, oh yeah, if I eat, oatmeal, then I'm going to be craving a burrito at lunch. Versus if I have bacon and eggs, I'll be completely fine with just chicken and broccoli for lunch. Okay. So that's something that you want to, be aware of. Ask yourself, those are the kind of questions that I'm constantly working with my clients. Okay, how did that meal affect you? How did it affect the decisions that you make later? Okay. So the thing that you don't realize that's really very super cool is that the whole process, whether you're going to be in a caloric surplus or a caloric deficit for that day, that starts as soon as you think about food. Oh, what's up, Celeste? So as soon as you think about food, the whole process starts. So as soon as you think about your meal. So before you eat, what you think about, the bacon and eggs for breakfast will partly determine how that meal will affect you. Meaning how satisfied will you be? How full will you be? How long will it keep you full? Okay. So literally, you just thinking about the food ahead of time starts that process, okay? And we've all done it, right? Like somebody says, okay, let's go out to dinner. And so you're like, oh man, we're going here. So what am I going to eat, right? And you want to start to think about, what am I craving? What food is going to satisfy me? How long will it keep me full? Because if you choose something that you don't like because you're trying to stick to a plan, well, as a result of you choosing, let's say, chicken and broccoli with like no sauce and stuff on it, that could cause you to eat cheesecake, chips, dip, nuts, and stuff later on, okay? So, it's not just like eating chicken and broccoli is going to be the key. You have to think of it long term. How does that one meal affect what you do for the next meal, okay? And it all starts with how you think about that food to begin with, right? And then the second thing is the sensory of the food, right? What, like the texture, the viscous slipperiness of oatmeal versus the slippery, crunchy nature of bacon, right? Those things, those senses go into your nervous system, and it tells the brain, hey, this is what I think about this food. This is very satisfying to me, and this is how full it will keep me, okay? So that plays a role, just the texture and the flavors of the food, okay? And then before the food is absorbed, your body releases enzymes to break down that food. And how many enzymes that are released will kind of determine how full you are going to be, okay? And so, there's going to be certain foods that are actually slowly digested, that are absorbed slowly, such as your protein and fiber. And then there's foods that are going to be super fast digested, such as carbs and, like usually drinks and stuff like that, okay? And then once that goes through, that's when you start to get hungry again, okay? And so you may get hungry 1 hour later, or you may get hungry 4 to 6 hours later, okay? But so that would be dependent on what food you chose, right? So proteins, fiber based foods, those will be absorbed a lot slower, okay? So you won't get hungry for a lot longer. It'll satiate you for a much longer amount of time, okay? And then another cool thing, which I think is super cool, is that just like the fact of you chewing your food, your brain has like a chewing counter, right? And so the more you chew, your body thinks that, I'm chewing a lot, there must be a lot of food coming. And so just that sort of response makes you it keeps you fuller, right? Immediately it'll the slower you chew your food, this is why they say that, because just the chewing, the more you chew, the longer, or it sends a response that you're eating a lot of food, okay? So what does this mean to you, and how can you apply this? So you want to be choosing foods that, one, this is where people go wrong, that satisfy you, okay? That you think are good filling foods, okay? So going into it, you have a good interaction with this food, right? That you are looking forward to it. And then it has good sensory. It has good like texture, chewy, airy, slippery, crunchy, whatever it is that you're looking for. And then it, of course, keeps you full for a long time with as little calories as possible, okay? But the thing is, I don't care that it's whole foods or not, okay? That you're missing the point, right? You're missing the point if you're so obsessed with, is this clean or not? Is this organic or not? Is it paleo or not? Okay? Whole foods, whole foods will be best, most likely, for keeping you fuller longer, right? But you also need to consider the satisfaction part of when you eat your food. And this is why you can't eat chicken and broccoli day in and day out and expect to sustain that. We all go crazy. We all go crazy. You have to enjoy your food to a point, Okay, it has to satisfy you. It cannot just be this whole like super clean, super bland diet. Okay, and so this is the key to staying on a diet long term, right? Because if you were to eat chicken and broccoli with no butter, no salt, no nothing, you're not going to sustain that very long. And not only that, but when you do get a chance at eating something good, you're going to probably go crazy on it, right? And so, like I said, it does not matter if it's whole foods or not. What matters is that for you, it satisfies you and it keeps you full for a long time. That's what you need to consider. And so that's the art of this game, right? So the hunger part is the science, right? We know that protein, fiber, water-rich foods keep you fuller longer. But you come into play. This is where you have to do your own kind of little, figure out how much salt, sugar, fat, and starch do you need in your meals to satisfy you enough that you don't binge out on nuts and chips and dip in the next meal. All right. So that is the key. And so like, I had somebody who told me, you know what, like when I go to McDonald's and I get a burger and fries, that satisfies me so much that I don't need to eat all the way up until dinner. And when I have dinner, I can just choose a chicken salad. And so when that person says that, I'm like, great. Then McDonald's is a health food for you. That burger and fries is a health food for you if it satisfies and satiates you, right? Keeps you fuller longer and keeps you in a caloric deficit, because that's what we need long term in order to stay lean, okay? So, you need to, with that being said, you need to know what foods you like, right? What foods do you crave, right? So if you crave, some people, need carbs. They like rice, potato, bread and butter, right? They like carbs. Other people, you ask them what they like and they're going to say, oh man, I like bacon and I like chips and I like pizza. Those are salty foods. So you're going to want to incorporate salt in your meals. I'm a salty person. I love salt. I need salt. So this is what you need to be asking yourself is, when it comes to the next meal that you eat, you need to be asking, will this meal make me more or less likely to choose chicken and broccoli in my next meal? Or will this meal cause me to eat chicken and broccoli and cheesecake and chips and dip and nuts because I didn't incorporate a little bit of carbs, or I didn't incorporate a little bit of fat or something, or salt? Okay, so you need to be testing this, and this is what I do with my clients. Like, this is the whole point of, like when you're one of my clients, we're trying to figure you out. We figure out what foods you crave, what foods satisfy you, what foods are your buffer foods, what foods trigger you. This is the testing process that we need to go through so that we know how to set ourselves up for success, one meal after the other. Because what you choose to eat right now dictates what you will eat later and how much of it, okay? So, pretty cool stuff. If you like this kind of material, if you like this content, which I think this stuff is fascinating, your body's just crazy smart. You can go to my, I know it's not convenient, but you got to go to my Instagram, click the link in my bio, and I've got a 5-day free training video series that talks about all this kind of stuff, all this really cool research that is going to really help set you up for success, okay? So it's called the Fit Addicted Institute. Get in there, type your email in, and you'll get 5 daily videos on some of the coolest topics that I think will help you the most with achieving, results and being able to sustain it long term. Cool, guys. All right, we'll talk to you later. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll talk to you later. Bye.